Good morning. You're here at Much Ado About Something today, and I'm Donna. Well, today I'm going to make a cup of tea, and I'm going to go out there and show you the dilemma that I've got with my seedlings. It's something unexpected for me this year. I'm going to make a cup of English breakfast tea. This is a really good tea that my friend gave me. Thank you, Sharon, for the delicious tea. And I am going to put a little bit of white clover and lemon balm in it this morning. I had this yesterday, and I'm going to just add it into my little tea ball here and go ahead and add some of this good flavor to my breakfast tea this morning. You know I like black tea if you watch this channel. Let's get our cup of tea started, and then we'll go outside and see what's going on with those seedlings. Some of them are looking really great, and some of them are struggling. I'm going to put my clover and my lemon balm in my tea ball here. I've got my water in an electric teapot starting to boil. I'm just going to make a good cup of tea before I go outside and share with you. Feel free to get the beverage of your choice this morning, whether you drink coffee, tea, hot chocolate, whatever you might drink. Feel free to fix you one right along with me and join me. Now that we got the tea steeping, I can step right out here and show you what's going on with the seeds. It is still wet out here. It rained yet another night. It's been about 4 days of rain. We did get a little break yesterday, but it wasn't that much of one. Well, right here you can see the dill and these lemon cucumbers that are right here are doing really great. The dilemma is Donald saw a blackbird out here, and he's been munching on our seeds. So he's been digging the seeds out of the cells, and you can see they're all around here. You can see where he's ate the seeds. He ate the middle out of the seeds. And that's why we have some that are beautifully coming up, and then some cells that have absolutely nothing in them. It's because we've had a blackbird out here that has just dug and picked and ate our seeds. You can see all across here there's some destruction where he just picked out and had a heyday and nibbled on all of our seeds. So that's the reason some have came up and some have not came up. So I'm going to have to get out here and replant some seeds and hope that he doesn't come back. Hope that that bird doesn't come back. Donald said next year we'll build some kind of little wire cage to go over them, so that maybe we won't have that problem again. Now, we do have plenty that have came up, but in the cells that you see that are empty, the reason they didn't come up was we had a bird that picked out the seeds, nibbled out the inside, and moved on. He did that up here with these seeds, and he also did it out there in the potting section where my other seeds are. He did the same thing out here. You know, I planted those trays of seeds out here. And that bird did the same thing out here with these seeds. And so we've got the same kind of dilemma that happened here with our seeds. You know, they were buried into the soil. He picked them out and broke them open and enjoyed the inside of the seeds. We've got a few that made it. Those are the straight 8s. But a lot of the seeds are just up on top, and you can see they've been eaten. They're cracked open. So we've had a bird that made a smorgasbord out of our seeds. So I've got to get out here and replant those today if I expect to get any in time to be planted. These are the new cells that we've had, that I bought, the reusable cells. I'm going to have to lift these out and pour out some of this water. All this rain, we just have an excessive amount of water. But all in all, I'm pleased with how the seeds are doing. Even though we've had the problem there, I don't know that we've ever had this problem. I don't think I've ever had a bird that came and picked out my seeds like this. I've always just started them out in the open. I like to start them out in the open because then they're somewhat hardened off when you get ready to plant them. You don't have to do that extra step of hardening them off, and I plant a little bit later anyway. So I was not worried about a bird that would come and pick out all of my seeds, or most of my seeds. But this year, that's what happened to us, so I'm going to have to go over here and get the seeds and replant what I have enough seeds to replant. If I don't have enough seeds to replant, look, see, here's one that's come up and he's just nipped it out of there. He's nipped the top off of some of them. Right here you can see the little seedling tried to come up, and he just nipped off the top of it. So that's what's been going on today. I'm going to replant. Since the 4 days of rain, these weeds have grown astronomically. You can see the little bed of weeds. I did get out here the other day right here and just clear out this patch and put it in a bucket because the rabbits and the chickens love these fresh greens. So I'll be getting out here. Good morning, Roosty. So I'll be getting out here this morning and working for as long as I can without other things that need to be done coming up, and working on these weeds that are in this garden. You can see the weeds are here, just growing astronomically. I did get a little patch of weeds right here pulled up, but I've got a lot more to go. I fed these young fresh green weeds to the chickens and to the rabbits, and they really enjoyed these fresh greens. But I've got to get back out here and do a lot more. This is the little garden where we plant all the kids' stuff, and this is the bigger garden. Still haven't got out here and done much more. I've got to pull a few weeds out here. It's not as bad as the little upper garden, but Donald's going to have to get out here and trim up some of these elderberries. They have grown quite a bit this year, and this rain is really helping them, and he's going to have to trim them up so that we get a little more sun in this garden. They've grown a lot since last year. Last year we didn't have all this overhang right here. We had those were back, and so we've got a lot more shade right here than we normally would have in this little garden. It's usually about 5 to 6 hours of sun here, and there's a little clearing out to do. Now that seems like, wow, you should have already had that done. Well, in a garden this size, it doesn't take as long as it would if you had a lot of acreage. This is just a small little garden plot that we grow every year. We have 2 of them that we've put back here in our fenced-in backyard here in the city. It's not a lot of places to garden here. And of course we could garden in pots. But we're trying to make the most of the land that we have while, we can, growing what we can grow here with what we have here in the city. And you'll be surprised how much you can grow in this small of a space. You really can. Last year we got plenty. I think it was over 300 and some pounds of food we got out of these 2 little gardens and out here in our yard in general. You can see the elderberries we call it setting flowers. They have flowers all over them, which means plenty of berries. So we're going to have plenty of berries. Now, a lot of people use the flowers. I'll show them to you at their later stage. They open up, they're white, they're beautiful. You can make fancy things with them. You can make cordials. You can make a lot of other things with them. You can make jelly. You can make syrups, different things. And they're just wonderful, the elderberry flowers. But I'll let my flowers turn into berries, elderberries, and hopefully I'll get enough of them. Because we have a lot of birds here. And these birds, we do not feed the birds, but there's a lot of natural food that they like. And they will be coming after my elderberries. So I'm trying to grow enough for the birds and enough for me. But they have really gotten big. The wisteria has flowers now. The last time I showed it to you, it was just blooms. Donald will have to just trim that back a little bit. It's putting out some vines. And he limits these because wisteria will take over if you let it. And it's really shady up under here now. It's the shadiest it's ever been since we started this garden. You can see the dark shade. So if I plant anything here, it'll have to be a shade-loving plant. And of course there's plenty of those beautiful shade-loving plants out there. Here's the wheelbarrow. We will be planting that. And I think I'm going to pull it out of this garden and put it somewhere where it can get plenty of sun and plant it out in full sun. The rocks need to be relayed. We'll do those on a work day. But everything is looking lush and green out here from all of the rain. And the elderberries are getting really tall. All of the years Donald and I planted ornamental and different things for privacy, who knew all we had to do was let our elderberries grow and it would create a sense of privacy. Our houses are really close in this neighborhood. So it's great to have a little break right there where you can come out and cook out in your yard and be outside in your yard, and you're not feeling like you're right in the middle of a stage. You've got a little bit of privacy. You can see the neighbors are really close. This is their house. And there's just rows of houses here in this development. But I'm pleasantly surprised with all the really beautiful greenery. I'm excited to start on the garden. Remember, that's calcium I put down, so when we plant the tomatoes, there'll be plenty of calcium in this soil. We had a little blossom end rot problem. I think in addition to low calcium causing blossom end rot on tomatoes and fruits, I'm thinking a lot of it's also because of circulation. When you get a real tight place and you plant a lot in it, you got to make sure that you've got circulation so that the plants can dry out, so the wind can blow through. And we've got quite a bit here in this area, so we have to make sure when we plant our tomatoes that we have the circulation they need and the calcium and minerals they need. Of course, this is a no-dig, no-till garden, so we'll just have to get out here and pull up our weeds, which me and Donald don't have a problem doing, especially with a little garden this size. It won't take us maybe a few hours to get out here, and we'll have all of these weeds pulled. And then we'll put another layer of the compost that we've got from the compost pile over here down, and we'll be ready to go. When it dries out, Donald to get out here and mow the yard. I harvested some of these beautiful clover and put them in my tea. I love the smell of these. Of course, the smell is not so strong when it's rained, but I do love the white clover in tea. And a lot of the time, I'll harvest it, wash it up and dry it, and have it for tea. Now, Donald usually keeps the yard made so much that I don't get a lot of tea like that. Because if it's not raining and anything grows, he's going to mow it down. So I have to catch it in between, try to save a few. I do have a bag that I dried that I got from a friend's house. She had a whole field and I was able to pick her whole field. But I love white clover and red clover, and I like to make tea out of it. It has such great benefits, and I enjoy the smell and the taste of that clover tea. Well, I wanted to show you the dilemma that we had with the seeds. Just a minor setback that we can certainly overcome. Some things are already getting their second leaves on, and then some things were just picked out and not able to grow. They became food for the wildlife birds out here, which we don't feed the birds because we've got chickens, and that's just something that we don't do. I used to feed the birds, but I don't do that anymore. But they're finding ways to eat here without me feeding them. I am going to go on in here and drink my tea, get ready for the day. That looks delicious. Let me know in the comments how your garden's going. What's going on with everything? Have you had any setbacks or dilemmas? Thank you for joining me today. And like always, until next time.